It is Belle and Allie and Mary, and we are going to watch every Scream movie.
Again.
I
Again.
know, for some of us, again. For some of us, for the first time. And for some of us, we were too drunk to remember what happened the last time we saw it.
I'm pointing at you.
We don't need to talk about that until we
Like,
get to that particular movie.
don't need to have no conversations about that. Why you put my business on blast, Belle? Because I love you.
No,
Anyway,
that is a cherished memory that I have with Agile, enjoying my terrible drunken humor. That is a cherished memory.
and I'm gonna hold on to it tight.
Y'all ridiculous.
So I'm gonna be front. I love the first two movies. I own the third movie. I've never seen it. And but now we're up to 6, and I'm like, when did that happen? So I was like, you know what? Let's just rewatch all of them. You guys have seen all of them, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Before we go into it, which is your favorite so far?
I mean, I'm always gonna be a sucker for the classic, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're all delightfully campy and gory, and
Oof.
the nostalgia of the telephone.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's right.
Like now with the new ones, it's like they're just as campy, but now it's like they're up to date, and you know they got their fancy smartphones and all that jazz. But yeah, the Skeet, love that Skeet.
Skeet.
No, Matthew Lillard.
Which one did you say?
As an actor, not. I forgot that's what it meant. Awesome. I'm gonna stop talking now.
I didn't forget. That's why I said it. What about you, Mary?
I agree. The first one is the best one, but the one that I find myself rewatching with no shame is the third one, which
Interesting.
apparently is not one that many people like. Do I care? No. And I couldn't tell you why I love it. It could be because of a very special cameo that I won't tell you about.
Please don't.
I think Allie knows what I'm thinking of. There's a very special cameo in the third one that I love. I don't know. I like that the third one, it takes, I can't figure out how to phrase this. It takes kind of everything that we thought we knew in the first one and flips it on its head a little bit and gives us new information. I like those twists.
Okay.
They do keep like adding to the story, which is great.
Yes.
I will say, like, from everything I've heard, the lore on this is very good because I've only seen, like I said, only seen the first two. Really like the first one. Like the second one. The intro for the second one was also baller. The way our girl got gutted was baller as hell. Like, that was genuinely terrifying and made me afraid to be in a theater way before the pandemic. But I will say the one thing I've heard from everybody, people who love this franchise, is that each movie builds on the information that you receive from the previous movie, which is unusual because there's a reason why no one acknowledges anything that happened after Halloween 2 until Halloween Kills. Like, nothing had, none of the stuff that happened in between that happened, it didn't count, doesn't count. Or whatever, whichever, is it Halloween Kills or Halloween, whichever one is the most recent one.
Halloween Ends.
Halloween is the most recent one, but Halloween Kills was the one right before that.
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't seen any of the Halloweens except the first one, because the first one is enough.
The first two.
Yeah, there's basically
the first two.
There's 3 different storylines of Halloween movies too. So like Halloween H2O doesn't obviously not go with the other ones, because otherwise she would have a son and not a daughter.
Right. So because of the convolutedness of it, as much as I enjoy the first two, I am not keen on them because it's like, what counts and what doesn't, you know? And also, Michael should be dead. Like, that's one of my favorite things about the Scream franchise is that when people get dead, they stay dead. It's not one dude who should have been set on fire, decapitated, and his ashes spread across the world keep coming back.
It's not Rasputin.
Right. It's, if you see someone die in Scream, they are dead. If the killer dies in Scream, he is dead or she is dead. That's the end of it. Now, if somebody picks up their
human, they're just regular human.
Right. As well, you know what? I will say for Halloween, our beloved Donald Pleasance, he does say in the first movie that he doesn't think he's really human.
Yeah, he definitely has. I mean, they're all evil, but he's like evil incarnate.
Yeah, that's what he said. He was like, I met him as a child and he wasn't right. Yeah. He wasn't right then. And I don't think that's a human being. I think it's a demon in a human suit. And so that's a good point. So we're starting with the first one, and we're going to mute so we don't have all of the feedback. And the uncut reaction will be on our Patreon. The cut reaction will be on our YouTube. And if you want to support us, go to our Patreon. And you can pledge as much or as little as you like. And in the meantime, shall we all mute? And then hold on, because I got a commercial for Wolfpack, which I do want to watch because Sarah Michelle Gellar. But after that, the show actually, because I'm like, Sarah Michelle Gellar is here. Of course I'm going to watch this. Never seen Teen Wolf, don't care. All right.
I never bothered with Teen Wolf. I tried to start, never finished it.
Right.
Just teen drama. I can't, if you're in high school, I can't watch it. I'm sorry.
Please excuse the phone ringing, the landline ringing at 7:28 at night. What
landline?
You have a landline.
He works from home.
It's because you're watching Scream. It's going to be Ghostface calling Ron.
Oh my God.
Who is this?
Who are you trying to reach?
What number is this?
What number are you trying to reach?
I don't...
So why'd you dial it again? Just some scary movie.
You like scary movies? I know who I'm looking at. You'd do that if I were you.
Upstairs? Casey, baby.
Y'all, I don't know why Casey, baby, makes me cry every freaking time. I'm like, every time.
I was laughing.
I know.
I'm not gonna lie, I forgot that her mom could hear her being dragged. I forgot about that entirely. It's been so long since I've seen this.
It's so awful. I'm like, that's gotta be a parent's worst nightmare. It's bad enough for your kid to die, but for them to be murdered and you can hear it and you can't do squat about it.
Yeah.
I don't like that. But I will say that opener just changed the game because there were so many moments where you thought she was going to make it.
That opener is a banger because it's, you got to remember when this came out. That's Drew Barrymore. She's a sweetie.
Yeah.
She's like America's sweetheart. There's no way they're going to kill her. She's dead in the first the first 10 minutes gone.
Yeah, not even 10 minutes, like 12 minutes in.
Yeah.
Not the first 15 minutes in the movie, she did.
Yep. And now it's a free-for-all. You can't trust anybody. You don't know who's going to be next. Yep. Her death sets the tone for the entire movie.
That's the genius of this movie, is that that first death is so well done. The build up.
The two body count. Her boyfriend and her.
That's right.
Yeah.
Everybody forgets about him.
Two dead bodies in less than 13 minutes.
Poor Steve. Dead as hell.
Was his name Steve? I thought they said Seth. It doesn't matter. It does. It doesn't matter.
It does matter. Apparently, for the last two.
It does.
Because if I'm not mistaken, the whole premise of the last two movies is that somebody is going after everybody who was originally connected to the first case. victims and killers. So
Yes.
I don't know who's doing it, but that's what I understand. So it's gonna be very interesting. But yeah, like that moment. Also, I love the little detail of the Halloween music being underneath when she's answering the question about who
I've
the
never noticed that before.
I know I heard it just this moment, and I heard toot 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 toot, and I was like, "Is that is?" But
I never
also,
noticed that.
why is your doors not locked before you get home?
That's the thing that drives me nuts because I don't know how old. I was definitely younger than a high schooler when this movie came out, and even I know if I'm home alone, every door is locked.
Right?
So why? It's the middle of the night. Why are your doors not locked? You're home
She
alone.
lives in a cornfield.
She doesn't live in a cornfield. She lives in California. She lives in like Napa Valley or something next to a winery or some
I
shit.
was gonna say she lives in some sort of field. Wasn't that corn next to her?
I think it's like a
It
winery.
look like wheat or corn, but either way, like honestly, in my opinion, y'all, I'm sorry, but like
This is not the 1930s or like the 50s where it's like everyone's your friend. You can leave your doors unlocked. No, your doors.
in.
Like, are you kidding me? Everyone's doors are locked at all times.
Also, where are the blinds and the curtains? How can this mofo see me in my house? Why is there not a curtain or a blind to be found? Make it make sense, Karen. Like, why? I don't understand. I don't
Because they
understand.
live on a vineyard. They want to check out their grapes.
They like that open concept, lots of windows, lots of
Lots of
sight
ways
lines.
To the
Lots
window,
of ways to get
to the
killed.
wall, and there goes
Lots
Keith.
of ways. Lots of ways for crazy people to see you in your business. Lots and lots of ways. I ain't here for that.
Some people like to do that.
Huh?
Some people like to do that.
I know. Look, if it was up to Ron, we would hear the titty outcome podcast. So
That's gonna be the Pop Culture Uncovered OnlyFans page. That's what
OnlyFans.
that'll be.
we do all the reviews and titties out. Titties out.
Ron will join in on those. That'll be Ron's page specifically.
Out at the airport, so call us.
If I need anything, yeah.
Could have sworn I heard screaming.
Hey, bangs were really big in 1996, apparently.
What?
Bangs.
Oh, girl, yes.
Oh god, Courtney
Yeah,
Cox's hair in this franchise is a journey in and of itself.
I literally was gonna say the exact same thing. Poor Courtney.
Drew Barrymore, Neve Campbell, they all have bangs.
The hair was a lot for poor Courtney. It was a lot. There was a lot happening. Gail was going through some things.
You're not gonna like her hair in the third one.
Oh,
It's her worst look, easily.
Oh. I don't know how that's possible, but sure.
You'll see when we get there.
No, believe you me, it's the. All right, shall we begin?
Yeah.
Of Woodsboro has endured such tragedy. Only a year ago, Maureen Prescott, wife and mother, was found raped and murdered not far from this peaceful town square.
That was such a bitch. Oh, we're so much. Oh my god.
I'm not Jesus.
My name isn't Jesus.
My name is Jesus. My favorite. First of all, it's W. Earl Brown, so I'm already on board because I love him. But also, my name isn't Jesus. One of the best lines in the entire franchise.
Another thing I forgot about completely. Because it's just so
subtle.
quiet. It's so quiet and subtle. I think I
too.
missed it.
Yeah, I think he improvised that whole like moment. My name isn't Jesus.
Probably because it's like you can hear it off camera. He's not even in the shot.
I think he improvised it and they just kept it in because it's so funny. Oh my goodness. So this whole moment for me is really interesting because it's so well thought out on Stu Honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that they weren't wearing gloves when they were handling her dad and they got too cocky, they would have gotten away with this. But they didn't have gloves on and they didn't move him because the tape on his mouth would have given away that he had been held hostage. But other than that, they would have got, if they had not used tape and they used just cloth, they would have gotten away with this. Because they set it up so well for it to look like Billy was the one. Billy was not it. That her dad does it. The fact that they get his entire itinerary early on, they know because they're dating, so they know his entire itinerary and what's going on. And you made a good point. Like, as much as this whole scene, the scene is fantastic, but at the same time, also, like we said, girl, get your feet off the couch. What kind of ghetto? What in the ghetto? I love, like, all three of us were like, why are her feet on the couch?
It's because her dad's going. It's because she has the house by herself. She's like, I'm gonna have my feet and my shoes up on the clean sofa. Get your damn shoes off that sofa.
Get your shoes off the couch.
PG-13 couch.
Your mother sure didn't.
Fuck you, you creep.
But when you said that, it made me rethink that whole scene. But you're right, and you're right.
Yeah, so how I've always interpreted it is that the reason why she's so blasé about it and just having this conversation, being very casual, doesn't care, goes out the front porch without a weapon, even though there were 2 people just murdered. She knows this, 2 of her classmates. I think she does genuinely believe that it's Randy fucking with her on the phone. Even though he says, I'm not Randy. She's like, okay, Randy, I know. Ha ha ha. Let me go up front. What am I doing? I think she genuinely believes it's him and she's just indulging in it to be a good friend. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But it's when the killer mentions her mom that she realizes, shit, this isn't Randy. Randy would never say that shit about my mom. And that's when it's real, that it actually is the killer. I gotta go.
Yeah. One of the things I noticed is that you can hear Sue in the house. And I never noticed it before.
Really? Where?
Where?
I have to keep my TV volume really low as not to disturb my neighbors.
You can hear the floorboards creaking. She's the only one in the house. Why are their floorboards creaking when they don't have any pets? And she's the only one in the house.
Huh. I didn't notice that.
Mm-hmm. I heard it the last time I watched this years ago, and I was like, maybe I was crazy. Nope.
They're there.
It's there. It's there. You can literally hear the floorboards creaking in the when she stands like right in front of the closet that he eventually comes out of. Earlier in the scene, you can hear the floorboards creaking.
Huh.
And I'm like, he was in the house the whole damn time.
He was just chilling, waiting for like
Chilling.
2 hours while she fell asleep.
Well, I think it was he was waiting since he knew Tatum was going to be in practice. There's no excuse for why, like, he doesn't have to be with Tatum. So I think it's very interesting. I think that they do a really great job of showing how they give us so many misdirects. But if you're paying attention, you realize that there's more than one killer. But it's only after you've watched the movie like a couple of times that you're like, no, they tell you that there's more than one killer. Because unless he's teleporting, how does he get from location to location like that? And I'm like, oh yeah. Which is one of I really really like that. And then, like I said, they set up Billy to look innocent so well. They really made us think that Billy was being set up. And no, it was him. It was always him. It was always him. But again, Sydney, get your feet off the couch, child.
Yeah.
What the hell?
One of the things I like is when I go to rewatch this movie, but another show, True Blood. I love rewatching that first season
Oh, good. The
and
first season is
pinpointing Renee, knowing what you know about Renee, and just watching him in the background and seeing what he's doing and who he's looking at, because there's a lot of cues that he's giving that gives away that he is the killer, but you don't notice it because he's in the background. He's not your focus. And it's the same thing in this. Anytime they're all together, you need to watch Stu and Billy and see what they're doing, because they're giving so many cues.
So many cues. That whole scene, like I said, at the fountain, where he's like, "Hey, shut up! Stop telling people how we killed these people, you dumb." But because Stu is so amped by it, he's getting off on it. See, for Billy, this is revenge. They killed a whole bunch of other people to cover up that they were always after Sid. So that's revenge. Hush, Dennis. Please excuse one of my many pets yelling at the top of his lungs because.
What's funny is that I can't hear Dennis at all.
Very loud. I cannot. I don't understand.
I heard you say enough.
I'm like, he literally came around the corner, looked at Ron, and screamed at him.
I can't hear that. So for me, all it looks like is you talking to an invisible person next to you saying, "Shut your mouth," like you're having an episode or something.
Would be to rip your insides out, hang you from a tree, so we can expose you for the heartless, desensitized little shit that you are.
School's out for summer.
Hey, I just got stabbed.
Yay.
So first of all, okay. Tatum's outfit, I totally had that, and it was from The Ring.
Iconic.
Like, totes have it. And I believe mine said girls football on it, though. So, only deaf.
I swear, I love the way Tatum dresses in this movie so much. Apparently,
she is the fashionista of the film.
Yes. Apparently, oh Lord, what is her name? Rose McGowan picked all of her clothes. She chose all of her clothes for the show, for the movie. And I'm like, it's definitely like, it's very in character. But one of the things I really think is interesting is that I was hoping Tatum would make it, but she's so mean to Dewey. That's how I knew she wasn't going to make it.
Yeah.
She's a super good friend to Sid, and she's a good girlfriend. But I knew because she was so mean to her brother that she wasn't going to make it. I was hoping. The first time I saw it, I was like, Tatum's got to make it.
But that's part of why a lot of people thought it was Dewey.
Yeah.
Because of how mean she is to him.
Yeah, they set it up really good because she's such a jerk to him. So, I do love, Dewey had a little game there. I was 24 for a whole year. With the hat off, everything. Also, I forgot
Took the hat off, did a little half turn, and smirking. He was feeling himself.
He was doing a little something. I forgot that David Arquette had a little donk back there. I always forget. Because, like, David Arquette is not my particular cup of tea. He's cute, but it's not my thing. But I was like, I forget that he's got a little something going on.
He's like, it's in a tiny little bubble.
Little tiny bubble. Just a little bubble. The whole scene where they murder Fonzie. Like, and I had thought he was gonna make it, but then the weirdness of his interactions with Sid in the office earlier.
Yes.
He grabbed her face.
Yeah.
Even the sheriff was like, why the fuck is he touching her like that?
Or like over the intercom where he's like telling the students that he loves them all. What principal would say that?
Yeah, it was a little weird. So I was like, he's gonna die. He's just a little, either he is the killer or he's a teacher that snapped and was done with these kids, or he's just weird enough that he's gonna get targeted. One or the other.
Yeah. I do like that their janitor's name is Freddy and he's dressed like Freddy Krueger.
I love that the janitor was Wes Craven.
Yes.
I freaking love that. I also really like and that was a subtle moment that I don't think I ever really noticed before. When Henry is going through his office trying to find out who's knocking on the door, it's a fishbowl lens as opposed to a regular lens that they're filming with. Because of that, you can tell that you're looking through someone's eyes, and that's how you know that the killer's already in the room.
I never noticed that either.
The lens is the slightly curved lens, so that it kind of reflects like someone's eyes are looking at you, and so that was a very subtle, very smart choice that I don't think I've ever really noticed, but I think it always twigged in the back of my mind that particular scene was cut differently than was filmed differently, and that's what it is that because we are looking through Billy's eyes in the mask.
It's definitely got to be Billy, because like you said, we saw Stu already outside the school.
Yeah.
And because you get to see the killer's legs in the bathroom, those heavy boots, those black pants, we thought it was Stu in the bathroom, because he has time to go get to that bathroom before Sid even runs in and hides.
That's true.
But he's wearing a completely different set of pants and shoes outside.
Yeah.
And it's moments later that the principal gets killed, so it's got to be Billy in that bathroom and killing the principal.
Yeah, but I do love that entire speech because he's not wrong. Like when Principal Henry lays into those guys, I'm like, he's not wrong. It's the truth. We have become so desensitized to violence that we don't take it in and we think it's fucking funny. And I'm like, so that whole speech, even in the middle of a horror movie, is just such a really, it's a smart moment that makes sense and it isn't preachy.
Well, to add on to that, when they're in the police station, the sheriff says something to Dewey, and he's like, do you really think like a classmate would have did this? Like, do you think teenagers did this to like Casey and Steve? And he's like, 20 years ago, I would have told you no, but now?
I don't
know. And I had to think, okay, well, when did the movie come out? 1996. What were two of the biggest crimes in 1996? JonBenet and Tupac.
Yep. Well, also Columbine.
And that's right, and Columbine.
Yep.
In the most recent years. So
we had a lot, like our lives got real scary real quick when we were growing up in a way that like was not a thing for just one generation before. There was just not, mass shootings weren't a thing until our generation. Serial killers were always around, but like targeted thing was never something that we had to worry about growing up. And now it's like you don't know if that person you're passing on the street is going to turn out to have a gun and going to kill a bunch of people. It's really terrifying. And this show really, unfortunately, for good or ill, this franchise has unfortunately predicted a lot of things that actually really happen in real life, a lot. It's very upsetting. This movie, I keep saying show because we're watching so many movies. We're watching 6 movies and by the end of this, but these movies really were very prophetic in a way that's highly disturbing. But I think Wes Craven just took stuff to what he was seeing in the world to its logical conclusion. It reminds me of the fact that like Max Brooks, who wrote World War Z.
Yes.
And Max Brooks, and there was another writer who I was literally just talking about a couple of days ago. But when they were planning their show, when Max Brooks was writing World War Z, he predicted how everyone would react based off of history. And damned if he didn't predict every country's reaction to the pandemic to the T. To the T. And that book came out a good 10 years before the pandemic. Just like C, that's what it was. The show C on Apple TV, same thing. They predicted that show came out 2 years in 2018, so 2 years before the pandemic, and that show predicted exactly how we would react to a pandemic. Exactly.
I'm gonna watch this.
It's so good. It's so good. It's Jason Momoa and Dave Bautista just going at it. It's real good. You're gonna like it a lot.
I need to watch it now.
All right. Shall we begin? This is when we're about to get to this is when the body count starts going up real quick.
Real quick. I'm never look at a garage door the same.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But cheers to Gail. We did say in our little commentary, she is a damn good investigative reporter.
Damn good reporter.
She's pretty heartless, but she knows her shit. She knows what she's doing. She's not dumb.
Not at all. And I actually really respect that, because in any other movie or any other franchise, she'd be an idiot.
Yeah.
She'd be just mean to be mean, and so that Sydney would have somebody. No one would have thought in any other franchise, they would have never thought to make those two team up. Not once. It would have never occurred.
But what I like is that Gail does come off as just being mean to be mean, and I need to sell my book, but then you hear other people talking about Sydney's mom, and it's backing up what Gail is writing in her book. Sydney's the only one who vehemently believes that her mother was an angel, and she wasn't sleeping around. She would never cheat on my dad. You're the only one that believes that. Nobody else is buying that.
Your father doesn't even believe that shit.
No.
Yeah. All right, let's do it.
Oh, you want to play Psycho Killer? Can I be the helpless victim? Okay, let's see. No, please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel.
Oh, Tatum.
They don't make garage doors like they used to.
They don't. They really don't. And this is the reason why.
Honestly, yeah, a little bit.
That's why they have safety features now.
Yeah.
Because of this movie, they have photo eyes.
No OSHA violations on garage doors anymore after this movie.
No.
I don't know. Tatum's death messed me up, not gonna lie. And then like, cause she really did. But also, girl, why did you run past all of the weapons? There was so many. She could have beat the shit out of him with that rake alone. She was beating his ass.
She threw a beer bottle at his dick.
Yeah.
And honestly,
the fridge door to a face.
Yeah, she honestly, if she had not tried to run, she would have taken his ass out.
Yep.
I get why she tried to run, but you ran past a wall of weapons. That rake, that metal rake right there, fuck him up. Yeah. Take that rake and fuck his shit up.
But did you notice she did the exact same thing Sydney did earlier when she was talking to him? She thought it was Randy just fucking around. Let me play along. And then, oh shit, no, this is real.
Yeah.
Same thing.
And again, it's Billy. It's definitely Billy, because you can tell by the grunt when she fucked him up with that damn beer bottle. Mm-hmm. The sound is Billy's voice. As I am so mad at myself. Well, I'm not mad, because that means it was a well-written movie, but that I didn't catch it the first few times I watched it, which one is which at given times. But the way it's the sounds that they make, you can tell who it is by their reactions to what's happening. But damn, Tatum got taken out like, But that 30-second delay on the camera was such a smart, that was such a creative choice by the writer and director, so that both we and the characters know what's happening, but we don't know when it's happening. It's just so smart. It's so smart. And we're about to lose another one. So let's just do it. Let's just do it, because the body count one. Rag and another one.
And another one. Uno mas.
Uno mas. All right.
Sydney?
Huey!
Man, the body count. Oh God, I forgot it was produced by the Weinstein. Ugh.
Yeah, the second Rose McGowan came on for the first time, that was what I remembered because she talked about getting this part.
I actually had blocked it out completely.
Yeah.
No, don't go automatically to Scream 2. Calm down.
That's next week.
That's next week's drama.
Oh shit, it's doing the same thing.
Another day, another drama.
Hold your horses there, Scream.
I may or may not have thrown my mother down the rabbit hole of Taylor Swift and Janelle Monáe. And so I may be hearing a lot of Taylor Swift and Janelle Monáe in my life right now.
There's worse things.
There are worse things. Both of those, I'm like, you know what? There are worse things she could be listening to. So, man, I also really like the way they did the closing credits for this movie. I thought they were really creative. I keep thinking about how, like, back in the day, all the closing credits were at the top of the movie. Can you imagine if the closing credits were at the top of the film? For like a DC movie or a Marvel movie, people would be like,
no. I don't even want to sit through the credits now for a Marvel movie. Like, for phase 1, sure, let's get the post-credit scene. Now I'm just like, nah, I don't give a shit. That shit will be up on TikTok or YouTube.
Before I even get out of the theater, it'll be there. I'm good.
I've been sitting in this chair for almost 3 hours. I need to go to the bathroom. Fuck the post-credit. I don't give a shit anymore.
Exactly.
I don't care.
I do.
I'm glad you care. You secretly film it for me while I go to the bathroom.
You are the answer.
Oh my god, there's like how many scenes? 2, 3? How many scenes are we gonna get?
Yeah, the one time you're like, Mary, this is your job. You're supposed to know this. I did not know this was my job. I didn't prepare for it. I'm going to the bathroom. I think it was for Wakanda Forever.
It was a sign out of your knowledge.
I think it was for Wakanda Forever when you said that. I was like, no, that's not my job. I'm going to the bathroom.
I have to
you stay and let me know. I'll find it on YouTube later. Someone on TikTok will be talking about it. It's fine.
Right.
TikTok.
So the final 4 deaths rack up quick, honey. Because first Kenny goes down, and like I said, that 30-second delay thing was so genius. I remember watching that in the theater, and being like, I feel like I was in maybe just finished high school, might be my first year of college when this movie, maybe first year of when this movie came out. And I remember in the theater, and I was in theater school when this happened, because I remember when Matt and Skeet got cast, because we were in school together.
I don't want to tell you how young I was when this movie came out.
No, because I'm still mad about Gargoyle.
We know I'm the baby.
We know, but I'm still mad about 3 podcasts ago, and you talking about how you saw Gargoyles on reruns, and I'm still not over that. I'm still haven't made.
I know. I'm sorry. I still need to rewatch it because it's on Disney Plus now, right?
Yes.
I still need to rewatch it.
Phenomenal. It's been a minute. It's been a minute.
Since they stopped playing the reruns. I haven't seen it in that long.
It's so good. It's still so good.
Still so good.
I remember when they got cast, because that's right. So I was because they were a year ahead of me. They got cast pretty much right out of school for this part. And I remember seeing it in the theater and wondering how I knew the camera was going to come into handy some kind of way. I just wasn't sure how. And when that 30-second delay thing, I was like, that's genius. That's so smart. It was so smart, because both us, neither the audience or the character, and that's one of the things with horror movies, as Randy says in the movie, they are predictable. After the first Halloween and the first Friday the 13th and the first Psycho, you know what the tropes are going to be. You know what's going to happen. But because of the choices that they make in this movie specifically, it adds the element of surprise where you don't know. You just don't. You're like, okay, so who's gonna die next? And that 30-second delay, girl, when they killed W. Earl Brown, the way I screamed in the theater, the scream I scrumped.
It adds to the tension. That 30-second delay adds to the tension because
Yes.
we don't know, because we can't rely on the classic tropes, as Randy points out.
Yep.
That 30-second delay, you don't know what's coming. At that point, you still don't know who the killer really is. There's a lot of options in the air. And then you add to the fact that Sid goes to the cop car and the killer has the key so he can unlock it, and she's got to roll up the window. The stress of watching her roll up the window.
Oh my God.
There's nothing more stressful than that.
Although I will say,
glad it was a roll-up window, because if she needed the key, she'd be fucked.
That's true. That's
So,
true. That's
roll-up
what
windows will save your life.
I was gonna say, because after watching Mr. Robot, remember in season, I want to say 2, after they did the thing on Mr. Robot, after they actually did pulled off what they were planning in season 1, how they were able to take over that one executive's entire home because it was a smart home. And I'm like, this is why I will never, ever fully rely on smart technology. I am a big fan of practical technology. So while I have security cameras placed strategically around my house, both inside and for outside, I also am not reliant on solely the internet. And sorry, but I'm going to actually have a door latch and a good old-fashioned movement triggered alarm that's powered by batteries that are not connected to the electrical grid at all. Because if horror movies have taught me nothing, is that it's never a bad idea to have redundancies to make sure you can get out your house without getting murked. It is never a bad idea to have a backup with a second backup and a third backup.
I have multiple escape plans if there's ever a killer in my house.
Oh, hell yes. Hell yes. And honestly, also, if my animals are freaking out, I'm just going to leave. I'm not going to try to figure out, oh, what's the matter, girl? Nah, we leaving. It's not going to be a conversation. If any of these animals in this house are like, there's some shit going down and we need to go. Me, put them cats in the cat backpacks and grab the dogs, and hopefully my husband and my mother will make it back with me, because me and my pets are going to be gone.
I do need to update my plans since I have him now.
Yes.
When I made my plans, I didn't have an animal to worry about. I have to make sure I have a backpack I can throw him in real quick.
We literally bought backpacks for the cats for the express purpose of, if there is a serial killer or some shit goes down, we can put the animals in a backpack and leave.
Okay, Lala's my weapon. I mean,
no, that's true.
That's true.
That is true.
She'll go straight for the throat.
Throw them at her. But the ending of this movie is so tight and right that I didn't realize, because we were breaking in between to talk about scenes, that the literal ending of the movie is 30 minutes long, but because it is so well written and so tightly paced, you don't realize that it's almost, actually, I'm sorry, it's longer than that. It's 45 minutes.
You don't realize it. It's like you said, tightly written. It is so quick. It's so fast paced.
I'm like, it feels like it honestly felt like it was only 15 minutes. It truly didn't feel like it was an hour, almost a full hour later. I thought it was really interesting as upon rewatch this, that Stu didn't know.
Yeah, I never noticed that before, but that look on his face, he did not know about Maureen and Billy's dad. He had no clue.
No idea.
It wasn't just for funsies?
Yeah. Which tells you how bad, just actually how much of a psychopath the Stu was, because Billy came to him with his plan. Billy was the one that planned it.
Oh, yeah, master manipulator.
Oh, yeah.
And Stu was like, I'm down. No reason at all. He was just down for murder, for funsies.
Yep.
Although the line about, my mom and dad are
They're gonna be so pissed.
Yeah. Yeah, and how well thought out it was that they waited a year.
A year.
Yeah.
Entire year to
Also,
follow through.
Secret mother was fucking my father.
And she's the reason my mom moved out and abandoned me. How's that for a motive?
Yes. Can we talk about that? Because we've talked about it privately in the chat, but Billy constantly telling Sid, like, you need to get over your mom's death. First of all, there is no wrong way to grieve, and there is no time limit on grieving, so fuck him for that. But also, it reminded me of the Princess Diaries, where her best friend is like, I thought you were over your dad's death already. Bitch, it was 2 weeks ago. What are you talking about?
That literally is one of the reasons why that movie does not hold up well for me.
I hate that movie.
I hate that
specifically
line.
Because of that line.
So much. That's not how grief works.
It's not. Also, you're a shitty friend if you say that to your best friend. That's a shitty friend. You need to drop them immediately.
Right? Not okay. I do like what you said. Stu is living his best life.
Stu is just living his best life. He is thriving on the chaos, and I love that for him. I still fully believe that Stu should be able to come back. He was fine. We didn't technically see him stop breathing. He could just come back looking a little Freddy Krueger burned, and it'll be fine. It's fine.
I feel like because Stu got basically massacred by Billy because Billy went a little.
Oh yeah, he's definitely dead. Just let me have my delusion.
I know.
That Matthew Lillard's gonna come back.
There's so much blood that when that scene with the drip, which was really smart and very subtle, where he's like holding onto his hand and trying to keep like to force the blood to stop flowing. And I'm like, nah, buddy, you ain't making it out of this. As soon as he was like, we're the only ones that make it. And I'm like, I don't think you are.
No, did you see the look on Billy's face? He was like, no, I want to be the sole survivor. He needed to kill Stu. He was going to make Stu a fall guy.
Exactly. Not to mention, Billy already almost spilled the beans in the first half of the freaking movie.
Yeah.
Why
Stu
on earth?
was running his mouth.
Mm-hmm. He literally described how he killed Steve and Casey.
Yeah.
To them. So Billy was already going, oh, okay, I'm gonna have to kill this bitch. Okay. That's why he stabbed too hard. And I really think Stu was delusional, but great. I mean, at least Steve, terrible. I mean, not Steve. At least Billy, I understand his motivations, but again, why are you mad at Sydney for what her mama did? Those are two completely different people. But I get it. But Stu was just like, yay, murder. And also,
he's like, it'll be just like a movie. We gotta make a sequel.
Yeah. My other thing was that line, I will say, even in the theater, when he and Randy came running to the door.
No, I didn't! Please give me that gun! Give me that gun, guys, man! No, I didn't! No, I didn't, Sid! He did it! He did it, Cindy! Please, I didn't do it! He did it, please! Please, Cindy, don't! Fuck you both!
I wasn't sure which one it was, but I knew not to give the gun. When he said, give me the gun, I was like, don't give him the gun.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give him the gun. Of the two, the one who's not asking for the weapon is the one that you trust. The one who's like, keep the weapon, let's get the fuck out of here. That's the one you trust. Because that's literally what Randy said. We got to get the fuck out of here. Let's go. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't know. I think it might be Stu. I didn't even think about Billy because we had just seen Billy die. But I thought I thought it might be because Stu was jealous of Billy and whatever. And I'm like, I don't know. But I definitely knew it wasn't Randy because Randy was like, let's just go. And common sense. He was the only one that was like, why are we still here?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
What's interesting now that you say that is that Stu and Randy are very similar where they think of things cinematically. They think of life like a movie.
They're mirrors.
They're complete mirrors to each other. And another good point of that.
Jesus, this place is packed tonight, man.
To my fiesta?
Yeah, I'm off early. Curfew, you know? Cool.
That is the scene when they're at the video store at his job and they're talking about the different tropes and of why, if you're a suspect from the police, why would you be in the horror movie section? That's stupid. If I was the killer, I would yada yada yada, and all that stuff. I never even realized that before until you said that. But yeah, they are. They're mirrors to each other.
Just like Sydney and Billy are mirrors, because all of this starts because of the sins of the parents.
You don't know how true that is. You do not know how true that is yet.
What does that mean?
Maybe she's a slut, just like her mother. You're evil. Please, it's a common fact. Her mother was a tramp. Cut some slack. She watched her mom get butchered.
Oh, right. I have 3 more movies to watch that I haven't seen. Right. Okay.
Spoiler! I don't want to spoil it for you because
technically I have 4 more movies, but we're going to see the last one together in the actual theaters. But yeah, like, all of this starts because now the slut shaming of Maureen Prescott is a very interesting thing, because on the one hand, I hate slut shaming. On the other hand, don't cheat. So I don't know how I still to this day don't know how I feel about Maureen Prescott, because don't cheat. If you're not happy in your marriage, fucking leave.
So I hate to be on Skeet's side for this one. It was his parents and he's angry, like he's hurt, and that's what made his mom leave. So I mean, they're still, I guess maybe they're 18 in this. They're supposed to be 18.
They're supposed to graduate. So they're about 18 years old and 17. Yeah.
I don't know, because didn't they say that Casey and Steve were 16 and 17?
Yes. So yeah, they were very young, 16 and 17. And I think, yeah, they were, because I feel like people were like, oh my God, these kids are too old. And I'm like, no, they're not. Because I remember being an old lady at 16 or 17. I graduated high school at 16. I was already on my way to college on the other side of the country at 16. So.
Very different everything.
Yeah, they were the right age. And I know that Skeet and Matt weren't much older than, they were barely legal when they filmed this movie. So they were teenagers, and you're right, the psychological damage that was done, and God forbid if he actually saw them cheating.
Well, and that's the thing. It was so much that it made him kill a person and rape them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I mean, he already had issues, but yeah.
Well, my question is this:
I don't think he raped Maureen.
No. Okay.
I think they just had it be that
Cotton and her had sex, and
then he went in and killed, and just made it seem like Cotton had raped her and killed her. My question I guess Stu wouldn't have been involved with Maureen. Like, he made it sound like he was involved in it, but he didn't know the motivation of why Billy would do it.
Yeah, I think he knew. That she was going around doing some things she shouldn't have been doing.
Like everybody did, except for Sydney, apparently.
Yeah, because even her father knew.
Yeah.
Even Tatum knew. Even Tatum on the porch, she was like, well, I mean, like, I'm going to be a good friend, but so I'm going to sugarcoat it, but yeah.
Your mom was actually, like, doing all the things. So it's weird. I think if her mom had been single and living her best life, I would, although again, don't go after somebody's spouse. There's a reason to this day I'm still not cool with Alicia Keys. Like, don't do that. There's so much. Don't do it. But I think the slut shaming is weird because on the one hand, like, she wasn't happy, so leave.
Yeah, then leave. Don't leave.
Because she ruined both her and Stu's father. Billy's dad ruined, quite literally ended the lives of, how many people died in this movie? Tatum,
Casey, Steve, the principal, Tatum,
Casey, yeah, almost Dewey, Billy and Kenny. So 7 people died because she couldn't ask for a divorce.
Yeah.
And it would be different if her husband seemed like the type of man who was abusive, but clearly he wasn't. So she could have asked for that divorce.
We don't even get a clear reason of why she's unhappy in her marriage. Like, is it just because he has to travel for work and she's alone a lot? Like, is that it?
And if it is, then I feel like now that's one of the flaws of the movie for me, is, and this is a saying that I've heard many, many times, and I think it might actually be true. Some cliches are true for a reason, which is, when women cheat, it's not because of sex, it's because of emotion. So if she was feeling emotionally unfulfilled, then she was gonna roll no matter what. So, but we don't ever get a clear, I don't know, I literally have not seen the last 3 movies or the 4th one. So we never get a clear reason for that. And apparently I'm going to in a future film. Okay. I just feel like there's so much, like, we don't know what damage was done to Maureen, that this was what she thought. But I guess, okay, based off your faces, we're going to find out that there was damage done. Okay.
You'll find out. You'll find out more about Maureen's past. But for Billy's dad, I think it was just that his wife was fat. Wasn't that a thing?
Yeah, in the second movie, was it the second one where we find out about his wife?
Yeah, like, his wife was just fat, and Maureen has a past, and she's a little damaged, and she's feeling emotionally unfulfilled, so they have an affair.
What a shitty reason to cheat on your spouse.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Billy's dad gets off freaking light.
He really does.
He gets off real light. I would have jocked, like, if I was Billy, I would have started with his ass and then gone from
right? Because it's like, yeah, Maureen's partially responsible for why your mom left, but who's the main reason? Your dad. Your dad is.
And
it takes 2 people.
Can we both agree both of their hairdos are so skeezy? Like, so skeezy. Like, father and son, bad hair.
His father's hair. His father's whole look grossed me out in the film. The hair.
It looks like he's wearing a really bad wig.
The hair, the choice of how they did his makeup, where he looked hard and put away wet. I was like, ugh, you look rough, homie. I mean, but then his wife left him and his side piece got murdered. So, I mean.
Yeah.
So.
I look rough too.
I
will say that in terms of, regardless of how we feel about the slut shaming of Maureen, I will say that the movie holds up on that point about the violence of women and about women who are maybe a bit more promiscuous or not. You know, whatever. People, men in particular, want to deny that women are targeted for expressing themselves sexually or for not expressing themselves sexually. Billy was a master manipulator and gaslighting Sydney into finally having sex with him while also murdering her mom for having an affair. So the movie does still hold up on that front.
It's interesting that you bring that up because the violence against women is like literally a UN thing. Like, they're like, this is an actual worldwide problem that we have to deal with immediately. And I keep thinking about the thing with Nicola Bulley disappearing in England. and so many women and femmes in the United States who've been straight up murdered because
women who just say no to a date.
That's what I was going to say. There's a TikTok, a viral TikTok that's going around of Dimitri. You know exactly what I'm talking about, Mary.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
And I will.
My TikTok For You page is all Pedro Pascal thirst talk and Dimitri.
And I forgot to. I will hopefully remember to put it into the comment, like underneath the film when we put this up. But it's fascinating how these men are so freaking entitled. And that's something that very much stands up in this film. I am entitled to you. I'm entitled to your body. Even Stu's final line, I always had a thing for you, Sid. So what was the plan? Were you going to rape her and then kill her? What was the plan, Stu? And like, you're literally trying to kill her. Do you think that she's going to be like, okay, we can have some sex before you murder me? Like, what's the thought pattern?
In his word mind, he probably thought that is what would happen.
Yeah.
She gave him for Billy, now it's my turn.
Right. And so it's very interesting to me that all of this movie came out in 1998?
96.
So it's been 27 years and all of the things still hold up.
Oh God, it has been 27 years. What the fuck?
27.
My mom let me watch this?
I didn't get to see this in theaters. I did the math. I was 7. So I was not allowed to see this in theaters.
Actually, I think we might have snuck in. You know, buy the ticket for the PG movie and then you go into the other theater.
I had to get this on VHS later.
Why does she always have to dig the hole is what I want to talk about.
So sorry. I will say I do love that Rooney worked at the ye old local Blockbuster. The nostalgia of going to a Blockbuster.
Yeah.
God.
Y'all, every time I ever went to a Blockbuster, something insane happened. And I kid you not, like, to the point where I just avoided them every single
Did you have moments like with Randy shouting things and the woman's behind him like, what the fuck did he say? Let me just walk out of here.
I've had people, I was there when there was a robbery. I was there when some random woman proceeded to stalk me and my friend Niji from we walked because the Blockbuster was down the street from my house. And this woman stalked us we had to go past my house and make several detours to shake her. I've had random Jehovah's Witnesses come up to me and throw tracts and Bible verses at me. It was a lot. It was a lot. After the third incident, I was like, and it only happened when Niji and I were together.
It's like, this Blockbuster is cursed. We're never coming here again.
Either it's cursed or it's us. But either way, we are never going to this Blockbuster together.
Where was this Blockbuster at?
On Harford Road, right on Harford Road and Hamilton Avenue.
You should see what's there now and find out if it's still cursed.
It's a wonderful hair salon that I go to all the time to get my wigs, my good wigs.
So it's no longer cursed.
It's no longer cursed.
It might have just been that it was a Blockbuster.
My Blockbuster used to be at Belvedere Square.
I remember that one.
That was my Blockbuster. Now it's like a fitness center, I think. Something like that.
I think so.
Yeah.
But we digress. This movie stands up so well. 27 years later, this movie holds up so well because I have watched some horror movies in my time, much to Ron's chagrin, because he is not a horror movie person and I am, that don't hold up. This holds up so well. And I am really looking forward to Scream 2. Although I will say once again, I feel like one of the things that this series does really good is make you give a damn about the non-main characters. So you don't want anyone to die. And a lot of horror movies don't take the time to do that. Mm-hmm. It's been a long time. I would say anything that Jordan Peele has done, yes. But I can't think of, outside of the second Aliens, I genuinely can't think of a horror franchise where I gave a damn about the side characters as much as the main characters, and I didn't want anyone to die.
Maybe the Purge franchise, just because you're
I have never watched a single one of those, so that'll be
really.
next.
Yeah,
I unironically love those movies because they trick you into thinking the movies are about one thing, that it's just a straight up horror movie gore fest. Like this is the bad timeline of what America could be.
Right.
But that's why I don't want to watch it.
Actually, but what it actually is a commentary on like socioeconomic classes and
that's
the rich and wealthy, and it's. I do love the commentary, but that's a franchise because you never know. You never know in those movies.
Hi, this is Gail Weathers with an exclusive eyewitness.
Gail really was like, I'm done with everybody's shit. Gail is honestly like, I love Sydney, but Gail's my favorite because she's such a bitch and she's so like,
yeah,
such a bitch, and she is so straightforward about it, and she does not. I think one of Gail's actually one of the best representations of a woman in media. She's extremely feminine. She's extremely beautiful. She does not take any shit from anybody, but she's still kind in her own way.
And she can also be really dense sometimes because this woman is here reporting on a serial killer and she's going off into the woods in the dark with a man she met earlier in the day.
In heels.
Yeah. In heels.
That was the part for me. Her running, although Courtney Cox's run is so cute, her running in them little heels and that pencil skirt, I was like, girl, if you don't take them fucking shoes off.
But she does later. Did you catch that? She does later.
I saw that.
That jacket needs to go. I hate that jacket. Like the jacket with
the is killing me.
Headband.
I will say the biggest thing that dates this movie is the reference to Ricky Lake, which is jarring. I forgot Ricky Lake was even a thing. That was jarring for me. And Gail's hair.
Gail goes on a hair journey in this entire franchise, and it is wild to watch.
Gail's hair
is cellular phone.
Cellular phone. I was like,
cellular phone.
Mobile? Like, or
not even like, no, cellular.
And that she didn't have her own.
Yeah.
She had to get Kenny's. Mm-hmm. I forgot about that. I was like, girl. Yeah. And I do like the little detail of Stu being killed by a damn television after the way he terrorized Casey. I really liked that detail of him because remember that was a prominent background thing during the entire intro was that damn TV being on, and when he dies, it's the same exact way. Although, do you guys remember when you had the blue screen? Do you remember that? Like you couldn't just switch between inputs. You had to. It was a whole thing. Like
who was I talking to the other day? Maybe it was Steve or Ryan or Vicky, and we were talking about like the TVs we had growing up. I was like, oh yeah, I had the big boxy thing that didn't have a remote. You just had the clicker. You got like 3 channels with the bunny ears, the whole thing. And it was like we had Nickelodeon, the news, and something else.
Nickelodeon, the news.
Nickelodeon?
Because me and my sister shared a TV in the room that we shared. Because we had to share a big room. We had the one TV with the knobs and the bunny ears. Not really. We only had like the 3 channels. I don't think that counted as cable. Maybe it did. I don't know.
For us, because we didn't have cable growing up. I can tell you that right now.
No.
Maybe that was cable. I don't know. 3 channels was cable back in the day. Back in
my day.
But like my sister and I would watch. It was the only thing my sister and I could agree on as children. At night, we would watch I Love Lucy on Nick at Night, and that was the only time we did not argue or try to murder each other on that old ass TV. That big boxy thing.
You can murder someone with that, as we saw.
As you saw, you could have murdered. You can't do that with these flat screens.
No idea.
They're ridiculously heavy. Yeah.
They were ridiculously heavy. It took 2 or 3 people just to move them in. They were huge.
When I had mine, it was in the basement, and when I took, I had 2 bedrooms upstairs that I took over once my siblings moved out. I was like, haha, I get the upstairs. I took the television from the basement up 2 flights of steps.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was motivation. I was like, I get the TV.
This is mine.
Girl.
This is mine.
I was Wonder Woman in that shit. I was like, this come with me now.
This is mine. I'm tearing it up the stairs. And everybody that don't like it can kiss my ass. And on that note. If you want to see our uncut reactions, this will be up on Patreon very shortly. I will basically only been throwing in contextual video from it. But it'll just be us just reacting to the movie as it were. And if you guys want to support us, follow us on Patreon at PC Uncovered. I'm sorry, at Pop Culture Uncovered on Patreon. You can find us at PC Uncovered on Twitter and Instagram, and soon Spoutable.
Spoutable?
Spoutable. I'll tell you about it offline. Pop Culture Uncovered on Facebook, Tumblr, and www.popcultureuncovered.com. And what's the last place, Allie?
All the virtual reality sites.
And on that note, we love you. Be safe out there. Wear your mask. Stay 6 feet apart from people you don't know. Wash your damn hands. Especially after you go to your bathroom, you nasty cheerleader.
Yeah, oh God. She put her finger in her mouth and she
I love how all three of us were like, oh God.
Also, Sydney and Billy getting busy on Stu's parents' bed, and then Sydney is brushing her hair with presumably Stu's mother's brush. Oh God. Who raised these kids? Who raised these kids to be so dirty and nasty?
They've never been through a pandemic, and it shows.
Ugh.
I'm sorry, you ain't got to go through a pandemic to not do any of those things.
Like, you learn about not sharing brushes when you're in elementary school because of head lice. Like you learn about that. She knows better.
She knows better. Nasty. When she picked that brush up, the way my face scrunched up, I was like, girl, no. I was
a bunch of filthy McNasties, these teenagers.
I don't even use my mom's brush. And I know where it's been. Y'all nasty. You're nasty. You're nasty. All right, anyway, we love you guys. Bye.
Bye.
You nasty.